Today, we're looking at Diamine's Passion Red. Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm an ink guy. I get inks, test them, and share the results with you. Now, Diamine's Passion Red is a red ink. To make sure I have a range of experience with this ink, I do the writing samples. I put the ink into a different pen for a day. I then put it into a Retro 51 Tornado to take my notes for this video. Now, before we get to the writing samples, let's look at the sciencey bits. And up first is the chromatography, and I agree with Vita that I've learned a lot by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. I put a line of ink down, immediately put it into water for 10 to 15 seconds. And we see that this is a true prime red. It pushes up, and I don't think that's really pink left behind so much as the very remnants of the red that is being pushed up. But there's no other colors here. The one on the right, I let dry for 10 minutes before I put it into water. And it basically looks the same. We see no real difference between them for being let to sit on that filter paper for 10 minutes. Resistance tests are done to see how this ink can be expected to perform on the page, and more importantly, how hard it might be to clean from your pen. Now I let the smear dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, it handles it fairly well, surprisingly well after looking at the chromatography. The extra fine stays about an extra fine to fine. It does not blow out. It makes me feel safe to use it in a note-taking situation. Again, very unusual considering how water did. Water's reactivating and lifting almost all of that ink off of the page. Pen Flush did everything that water did and a little bit more. We're seeing a lot of the white of the paper coming through with only 30 seconds of it being down. Now 1/3 bleach solution is completely removing it from the page, but there should be no reason to use the bleach solution to get that out of your pen. For the inks I've tested, I have found an average viscosity of 2.5, with the realm of normal being from 2.1 to 2.9. Diamine's Passion Red has a viscosity of 2.61, making it normal. To find my average dry times, I use my writing samples done on Clairefontaine, Tomoe River, and Rhodia paper with the extra fine and medium nib. For the inks I've tested, I have found an average dry time of 17 seconds, with the realm of normal being from 13 to 21 seconds. Diamine's Passion Red has an average dry time of 17 seconds, making it not just normal, but average. Now, let's look at the writing samples. I picked this ink up in sample form, and to keep my writing samples consistent, I use a Jinhao 159 with a Goulet 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a Goulet medium, and a Jinhao X750 with a Goulet extra fine. Let's take a look at Clairefontaine. We get no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, and no shade. Lighter tone, definitely a lighter tone, much lighter tone with the extra fine. It has no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shading, 11 seconds to dry. A darker tone than the extra fine, lighter than the 1.1. The medium has no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 16 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it and we didn't get it. And a smear test, you'd probably be able to recover that if you smeared while you were writing. No bleeding, no ghosting on Tomoe River. Sorry, some light ghosting on Tomoe River. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade. It takes on a dusty tone, a dusty red tone here with the Tomoe River. It does alter the overall tone of the ink, this particular paper. The extra fine is a noticeably lighter tone than the 1.1 with no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade, 18 seconds to dry. The medium is a darker tone than the extra fine, but lighter than the 1.1. It has no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade, 24 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it. We didn't get it in a smear test. You could not recover if you smeared while you were writing. Rhodia. It has no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1, it's, look at that. Look at how it lightened up. Comes a bit more pink here. I don't know. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade. The extra fine is a noticeably lighter tone with no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade, 13 seconds to dry. The medium is a slightly darker tone than the extra fine, and it's a little darker than the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 17 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it, we didn't get it. The smear test, you could probably recover this if you smeared while you were writing. Yellow Rhodia, no bleeding, no ghosting. Can we save some of this tone, because the tone of this red is just blah. And no, it's the same. It's going to be the same tones here. So the 1.1 is no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade. Now the extra fine is a way noticeably lighter tone. It actually is a little lighter. Yeah, right about the same actually, my bad. But it's a way lighter tone than the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade, 13 seconds to dry. The medium is a darker tone than the extra fine, slightly lighter than the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade, 17 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it, we didn't get it. In the smear test, you could probably recover this. Yeah, I just feel like I'm on a couple bad inks in a row here. White lines, lots of bleeding, lots of ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade. The extra fine is a slightly lighter tone with no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade, 2 seconds to dry. Medium goes back to the tone that we saw with the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade, 4 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it, we didn't get it. In the smear test, you could probably recover that, you know, if you wanted to. Whatever. Original Crown Mill, it's a very nice laid paper. And we get bleeding spots going on. Now, it does not bleed through the page, but it's spotting. And I wouldn't want this if I'm writing letters to people. Sorry. No ghosting. It doesn't come all the way through. It doesn't touch the page underneath. It does not make the back of the page unusable. When I see spotting like this, I always feel like you need to write on the back of the page because maybe it hides some of the spotting. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade. The extra fine is a slightly lighter tone with no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade, 6 seconds to dry. Medium is a darker tone, back to what we saw with the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade, 10 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it, we didn't get it. And the smear test, you might. That's a maybe. You might be able to recover that if you smeared while you were writing. And that is all that I have for the writing. Instead of finding inks that look like Diamine's Passion Red, I would prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. And I wanted a very nice blue. I went with Krishna's Sailors. Before I give my opinion on this ink, I would ask, if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if it's your first time here, I would invite you to subscribe. So what do I think of Diamine's Passion Red? I think this is a perfectly acceptable red. In any of its shading, it seems to come across as kind of a pink, which is a little odd considering what we see in the chromatography. The red seems a little lacking in this particular ink, though. It seems like they had a great name and an ink that, you know, they were like, yeah, it's red, and they just put them together. With a name like Passion Red, I would expect a bit more vibrancy from it, a little bit more of a something. Thanks for watching.